Hey everyone, and welcome back. So we are going to start working on this little search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that search button, and I'm actually going to just take this background, just expand it a bit. Let's see what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is on hover, just going to click that. So on, where is hovering? While hovering, open overlay. Let's see what that looks like. So that's not matched up properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to manually do it. Oh, there we go. So we have a little kind of hover interaction. Let's bring that up in size. So we have a nice little, now this interaction isn't perfect, but we are still kind of showcasing what would happen if we had a hover. It would just grow in size. So that's really cool. And what we're going to do next, we are going to take this frame. We're going to duplicate it down here. We're going to take this out. Let's actually go and search for an icon. So I'm going to go to feather icons. Perfect. I'm searching for an X. Beautiful. So we got our X over here. Just going to change that to white, and I'm going to copy that, throw that in there. Let's delete search. We'll have our X. So what's going to happen is on this overlay, because we're going to be hovering on it, and the only way to click it is going to be to actually click the overlay. So while we click on this overlay, so let me just make that frame a little bit larger. So let's go to prototype again. So on click, we are going to navigate to this second nav. Let's see what this looks like. So we're going to dissolve. We can actually just smart animate. So let's see what that looks like. So we got to fix that. Let's do that again. Okay, so this should, perfect. This will not have anything on it. Okay, so let's see what that looks like. Let's restart it, pressing R. And then we have an X all together into a larger interaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press F, and I'm going to get just a screen over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this nav. Let's go back to our design tab because it's near impossible. Okay, so we have that there. Perfect. And let's see what this looks like. Nice. So when I click this, it will navigate to this screen and delete that. Okay, so a prototype. And so when I click on this, it's actually going to go to the screen, and everything should smart animate. This should swap. Perfect, perfect. Now what I want to do is, let's think about an overlay. So we can do a couple of different things here. We can actually keep this out of this frame. We can remove this. Actually, you know what? We're going to need that because we can't have more than one thing at a time, but let's just create this. This is going to be, let's create like a background color. So I'm going to make like an overlay for search. It's not going to be anything final or anything, but I want to create something pretty cool here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. I'm going to just make like a rounded corners for this card. And who knows, like this could pop like a search up. And we can have a search form input. And that can be right there. We can even just steal this icon, putting something really quickly together. Okay, this is going to be rounded as well. And we need some text that just says search. So I know that a lot of these interactions aren't really viable. I mean, hover isn't viable on mobile, but we can start playing around with the cool things that we wouldn't normally think about. And when we're working on desktop and stuff like that, we will definitely be working with hover. So it's good to think about that. So what do we got here? What do we got? I'm going to show you something pretty cool. So we're going to smart animate. This is actually going to be in here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let's see if it works the way I want it to work. So when I click this and when I click this, we're just actually going to go back to this screen. So prototype, we are going to go back here, unclick, navigate to a smart animate. Perfect. Let's see what we've put together here. Let's get a black background on this, just so we can see where we are. So we have all our different items. If I hover over the search, I can see that it will get larger. If I click and I get an overlay. So that's pretty cool. If I close it, it goes away. So, I mean, you can create all these little micro interactions, incorporate motion into them to create like little types of experiences like that. Like this is probably not a good search experience just because we don't have like an actual search bar. But if you wanted to kind of create an overlay, I can imagine this working really well for something like cart, where it may not be a whole page. It may just be like a little overlay that shows your cart items. So think about all the different ways you can incorporate that. Like this is pretty awesome. I love it. I think that's a pretty cool way to create a micro interaction there. So something is happening over here. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Now, like I said, that may not be the best interaction for search, but I thought it was pretty interesting because you could just like pop a modal and having the search like turn into an X is pretty cool little micro interaction. You get that nice little feedback after you've clicked it. So I think cart is another kind of a good candidate for something like that, where you would just pop an overlay and it would have like cart items. Apply that structure to micro interactions, you know, trigger, rules, feedback, and modes and loops. So that way, when users go back and use the interaction, I mean, it's just very seamless. It's very good in the sense that this one's triggered by a user. It is giving me feedback. The rules behind the scenes are that if I click on this, I will hide and show. I will get the feedback that something's happened. These are individual micro interactions. I am seeing the different item. I'm noticing that the color change. And in terms of modes and loops, in this case, it may change in terms of like if I have something in the cart, it'll change, or if I've searched in the past, we may have type ahead like previous searches or saved searches. That could apply to the micro interaction. So apply all those rules I spoke about earlier. Remember those tips just about motion in general, and you're well on your way to creating beautiful, seamless experiences.